Mo Salah motivations made clear as experts ponder Liverpool star's future.
Liverpool's starman Mohamed Salah was on the score sheet again this weekend after a tough period, but what does the future hold for the Egyptian icon? After a run of just one win in 6 games in all competitions, it was almost time for panic stations at Liverpool. So much so that there were even question marks over Arne Slot's future. At the heart of those struggles, both Salah and Virgil van Dijk were criticized by many within the game, but Salah responded in the best possible way by opening the scoring at Anfield on Saturday night in the win over Aston Villa. Salah, his manager, and the Liverpool fans will all be hoping this is the end of the slump for him and the team, and that they can still fight their way back into this Premier League title race. Graeme Bailey outlines Mo Salah's struggles.
The topic of Liverpool and Mo Salah came up in the latest episode of Beyond the Back Four, with transfer expert Graeme Bailey explaining the muted celebrations we saw at Villa Park from the Liverpool star.
Bailey said, "He sets himself such a high standard. Liverpool did well in beating a decent, in-form Villa team, but there is frustration for the whole side that they're not quite there yet. Salah is a player with high standards, and we'd be discussing too if he was beaming after scoring. He knows it's a long trek for Liverpool to catch up with Arsenal, and knows Liverpool aren't where they want to be. Whether Liverpool can catch Arsenal in the title race or not is one matter, but one underlying question still remains over where Salah will be playing next season. It's thought Salah still has an offer from the Saudi Pro League on the table, which could be worth around 150 million, and Bailey says the 33-year-old will go there eventually. He added, "They are prepared to offer him whatever he wants, basically. He will end up there, and it's admirable the role he wants to take in the league. He might end up in Saudi in the summer, but definitely not in January." Meanwhile, Bailey also discussed the impact this summer had on Salah, in particular with the death of Diogo Jota hitting him hard. Salah was massively impacted by the loss of Jota. "As an industry, we don't realize what the squad went through in summer," Bailey said. Salah was close to Harvey Elliott too, so it's been a lot for Salah to contend with off-pitch. Mo Salah would stay at Liverpool if they qualify for Champions League. Meanwhile, in the episode, finance expert Kieran Maguire also outlined the nature of Mo Salah's contract at Liverpool and how he might be persuaded to stick around next season.
Maguire said, "We are fortunate to see details of the contracts for elite footballers in recent months, and the depth they go into is on an incentivization basis. Providing Liverpool qualify for Champions League, vast majority of bonuses will be paid for Salah."
You just don't see it as much these days that players get rewarded for goals or assists. The feeling in modern football is that teams want players to focus on team success and not individual. There are additional payments for overall awards like Player of the Season, caps for country, etc., but it's mainly to do with qualifying for Europe. If Liverpool are in the Champions League next season, I suspect Salah will want to be there. If not, then he may start to ask some questions. At the moment, there are plenty of Liverpool fans that think Salah should leave, but that old saying, "You don't know what you've got till it's gone," could well ring true for Red supporters next year if Salah does move on. Ryan Gravenberch on new Liverpool contract, we haven't talked yet. After reports of Liverpool wanting to offer Ryan Gravenberch a new contract, the midfielder briefly addressed his future in front of the media. Gravenberch established himself as one of the first names on the team sheet last season and has retained his position as Liverpool's deepest-lying midfielder. The 23-year-old is contracted at Anfield until 2028, but Fabrizio Romano recently reported that Liverpool want to offer the Dutchman a new contract in addition to Dominic Szoboszlai. Romano stated that Liverpool have not already prepared a contract agreement, but internally the club want to have a conversation with the player over a new deal. With Gravenberch selected as the player to front the media ahead of Real Madrid's visit in the Champions League, the midfielder offered a brief update. On his future, he said, "Obviously, I'm happy here. We have to see. We haven't talked yet about a new contract, but we will see. There will no doubt be a desire from the player's side to see his status in the team reflected in any new deal, but he is more than deserving of new terms." At 23, Gravenberch has yet to reach his peak years, and after the contract fiasco last season, the club ought to be aware of the importance of locking in key players well in advance. Transition to number 6 was not easy. Gravenberch was not a man of many words during his press conference, but did joke that the reason he is scoring more goals this season is that he has been listening to my dad about shooting more. It has added another dimension to his game, which he admitted the transition to the number 6 role was not easy after being tasked with the role at the start of last season. It was not easy, Gravenberch said of developing into a defensive midfielder. I played it a little bit before already, so I knew what to expect. When the coach came, we had a big conversation with him about what he expects from me. But from now on, I just focus on the number 6 position, and I try to do my best. Paul Joyce hits Liverpool with fresh injury blow before Real Madrid showdown. Liverpool looks set to be without Alexander Isak for the much-anticipated Champions League clash with Real Madrid this week, following a new update from Paul Joyce. Arne Slot's side hosts the Spanish Giants on Tuesday night in the next chapter between two great European rivals over the decades. For Liverpool, it is a crucial game in their efforts to reach the Champions League knockout rounds, with last month's 1-0 defeat away to Galatasaray giving them some work to do. The injuries are beginning to rack up a little for the Premier League champions, with the likes of Alisson and Isak the most high-profile recent absentees. Now, writing on X on Monday, Joyce confirmed that Isak didn't take part in team training, suggesting that he will miss out against Madrid at Anfield. Alexander Isak misses Liverpool training ahead of Real Madrid. Curtis Jones back with group. Isak's Liverpool career off to a frustrating start. Isak simply hasn't been able to get going in a Liverpool shirt yet, having arrived without a proper pre-season behind him, followed by picking up an injury. It is far from ideal for both the Reds and the Swede, who will no doubt be desperate to show the fans why he is the most expensive signing in the Reds' history. For now, Hugo Ekitike looks likely to continue leading the line, with the Frenchman Liverpool's most successful summer signing so far, with Mohamed Salah and Cody Gakpo expected to be on either flank against Madrid. That said, Slot may be tempted to start Florian Wirtz, potentially using him in a left-sided role instead of Gakpo, with the midfield three of Ryan Gravenberch, Alexis McAllister and Dominic Szoboszlai needing to continue. Meanwhile, the backline will almost certainly consist of Georgi Mamardashvili, Connor Bradley, Ibrahima Konate and Virgil van Dijk, but Slot needs to decide between Andy Robertson and Milos Kerkez at left-back. The former did well in Saturday's 2-0 win at home to Aston Villa in the league, and given the latter's struggles at Liverpool so far, playing the Scot arguably makes more sense, with his experience key on a big night at Anfield. Trent Alexander-Arnold says he has mixed emotions about returning to Liverpool as a Real Madrid player. Trent Alexander-Arnold has admitted that he has mixed emotions ahead of his Liverpool return. The Reds are set to take on Real Madrid at Anfield on Tuesday evening in their next Champions League clash. Many were wondering whether the right-back would even be fit enough to play against his former club due to the hamstring injury he sustained earlier in the season. In the end, however, he's managed to make a full recovery, with the defender saying that he felt that it was destiny for him to be returning to Liverpool this season. Trent Alexander-Arnold knew that Real Madrid would get Liverpool in the Champions League draw. Before the Champions League draw was even conducted, most fans were wondering what would happen if Real Madrid were drawn to face Liverpool. Alexander-Arnold's Anfield exit left a sour taste in the mouths of fans as, despite him hinting that he was going to stay put throughout most of the 2024-25 campaign, he chose to jump ship. Ali McCoist has already said that the reception he'll receive from Liverpool fans will be hostile, with none of them being able to understand why he chose to leave. And now, while speaking to Amazon Prime Sports, the Englishman has shared how he really feels about returning to Liverpool so soon. "I think when the draw was announced, everyone kind of knew it was going to happen," he said. "It was destined for that fixture to come, and obviously they're a top team, so I knew at some stage, at some point, I'd end up going back there or playing against Liverpool here or there. It's happening so soon, mixed emotions, and I think it will be a very difficult game, but it's one I'm excited for." He was then asked why he thinks it'll be a difficult game, and he replied, "Of course the reception and the atmosphere will contribute, but more so the football for me. I played there with the lads and under the coach. I understand how good of a team they are, and although they haven't had the results of late, they're still a top footballing team and nobody here thinks it's going to be an easy game." Liverpool must do everything in their power to stop Trent Alexander-Arnold's creativity coming out against them. There's no hiding from the fact that Alexander-Arnold is one of football's most creative players. Although his natural position is as a right-back, he's been used as a defensive midfielder and is often seen pushing as far up the wing as possible. His range of passing is impeccable, and even though his defensive work may not be the best, he more than makes up for his shortcomings when on the attack. Liverpool have missed the number of chances that Alexander-Arnold made for them this season, with neither Connor Bradley nor Jeremy Frimpong being able to live up to his standards. Florian Wirtz was brought in to help try and fill the void, and even though he's now got 3 assists, he's failed to live up to expectations. If Liverpool don't manage to close Alexander-Arnold down on Tuesday, they could find themselves in a whole world of trouble, especially with Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. leading their attacking line. Crystal Palace chief lifts lid on Marc Guéhi's stance after failed Liverpool transfer. Marc Guéhi was set to join Liverpool on deadline day, but Crystal Palace pulled the plug on the transfer and the England defender is now a free agent. Marc Guéhi saw a move to Liverpool collapse. Crystal Palace chief Steve Parish has conceded that Marc Guéhi now holds all the cards when it comes to selecting his next club following the breakdown of his proposed transfer to Liverpool. The England international came close to completing a switch to Anfield in the dying stages of the window before Crystal Palace withdrew from negotiations on deadline day. Currently, Guéhi is poised to depart Selhurst Park without a fee when his contract expires. Liverpool have predictably been mentioned as potential suitors, whilst Bundesliga powerhouses Bayern Munich have also recently been linked with a move. Providing an update on Guéhi's situation, Palace chairman Parish has acknowledged that the Eagles were unable to sanction the sale and accepts that Guéhi now controls his own destiny regarding his next destination. Providing an update on Guéhi's situation, Palace chairman Parish has acknowledged that the Eagles were unable to sanction the sale and accepts that Guéhi now controls his own destiny regarding his next destination. Speaking on the Men in Blazers podcast, he said, "Well, we did quite an analytical look at it in terms of what do we think Marc's worth in terms of places in the Premier League. Obviously, what does it do to that mentality, that psyche, that belief system, all of those indefinables. And you know, what's the upside and what's the downside? It was a very marginal call. Marc was great about it as a person." Marc Guéhi saw his switch to Liverpool collapse late on in the summer. Liverpool made the offer. It was a massive club. He was obviously interested in going, but he was fine about it, staying, if that was the decision we make. Obviously, it means all of the ball is in his court tremendously as a player, and he's got the choice of wherever he wants to go. It was a very difficult one, but I think definitely the right one. He added, "So we needed to keep Marc because the difference between us having a stellar season and having a relegation-threatened season is us winning 5 games or not. So the margins in the Premier League are very tight, and you have to remember that Michael Olise has gone. We're okay. Ebrechiez has gone. We're okay. Wilfred went. We're okay." There's a limit to how much you can keep doing that before you break down the fabric of the team. Following the decision to retain Guéhi, Palace has made an encouraging start to the campaign. The Eagles currently occupy 10th position in the Premier League table and have progressed to the Carabao Cup quarter-finals following their impressive 3-0 triumph over Liverpool at Anfield. That setback represented the latest chapter in a difficult spell for the Reds under Arne Slot. The Merseyside club have suffered defeat in 6 of their previous 7 fixtures across all competitions. Liverpool linked with Bayern Munich defender, but it's not Dayot Upamecano. Liverpool is short of options in defense after missing out on Marc Guéhi during the summer transfer window, and a Bayern Munich defender is being linked with a move. Kim Min-jae is being linked with Liverpool. Liverpool is being linked with a swoop for Bayern Munich defender Kim Min-jae, as the club looks to solve its defensive issues. Arne Slot's men have kept just 2 clean sheets in 15 games this season, with the most recent coming against Burnley on September 14th. Ibrahima Konate and Virgil van Dijk have both struggled to hit the heights they reached last season, while Giovanni Leoni's serious knee injury has left the Reds with just Joe Gomez as backup to the first-choice pair. Liverpool came close to signing Marc Guéhi from Crystal Palace on deadline day in September, and the collapse of that deal at the 11th hour was a major blow. Guéhi was on the opposite side as Palace got the better of Liverpool for a 3rd time this season in the Carabao Cup on Wednesday. But while he will almost certainly leave the Selhurst Park club as a free agent next summer, there are no guarantees that he will join Liverpool. On account of him being available on a free transfer, Liverpool is likely to face competition from a host of other top clubs in Europe to land Guéhi, whereas the Reds seemingly had a free run at him earlier this year. Dayot Upamecano has also been linked with a move to Liverpool in recent weeks. Spanish outlet Fichajes, which is admittedly not the most reliable transfer source, says Kim has emerged as a possible defensive target for Liverpool. The Reds have also been linked with a move for another Bayern defender in Dayot Upamecano in recent weeks. Kim has been at Bayern since joining the Bavarian club from Napoli in 2023, but he is currently not in Vincent Kompany's first-choice defensive pairing.
That is made up by Jonathan Tah and Upamecano. It is claimed that Bayern will not make a hasty decision on Kim's future and will at least give him until the end of the season to prove his worth to Boss Company. Inter Milan and AC Milan are said to be the favorites to land Kim should he end up leaving Bayern, but the Premier League is a possible destination for the 28-year-old, with Chelsea and Spurs also linked. Were Bayern to ultimately decide to sell Kim, the club would reportedly want to recoup the amount of money it paid Napoli to sign the South Korea international. Bayern spent $50 million, $58 million on Kim 2 years ago.